Statewide Insurers Group gave us choices in our Medicare coverage. Check out their options to answer your insurance needs. The choice is yours.
At Statewide Insurers Group, we work with every client as an individual case. We try to find what's going to work for you and your needs.
We really do all the research. I like to say we do the nitty-gritty so you don't have to, so we can accommodate everything you need from start to finish.
At Statewide, we want to find the fit that works for you. You need to give us a call. We can do a life review, health insurance, and all of the above. And we're located at 880 Country Club Road, right here in Rocky Mount. And telephone number is 252-316-8166. We look forward to hearing from you.
Senior Living Today, brought to you by these fine sponsors: Wires Inc., First Class Realty, Triangle East, and Ward Specialty Pharmacy.
Hi, welcome to the Senior Living Today show. I'm Devin Bolding. This is Cheryl Braswell. Before we get kicked off in the show, I'm just going to go over our sponsors, just so give them a shout out so you know who supports our show and who you should go see. Wires Inc., Brian West is the owner there. They can make your car look better, sound better, whatever the desire you have for it, they can probably do it. And then also they can even tint your household windows and whatnot.
That's right.
And so they have a lot of things they can do. Definitely give them a call. Ward Specialty Pharmacy, Patrick Ignacio, they specialize in compounding. So even if you're on medications and different things that you've been on, it's worth the visit to go see them, because oftentimes they can save you money.
Yes.
It could be that something in a medicine that you would prefer to be on, maybe you have a reaction, maybe they can figure out what's causing it to make it better for you so that you can still take whatever you're looking for. They can even help your pets.
That's right.
So they've moved. They used to be across from Harris Teeter, but now they're on
Right around the corner,
right
beside the PNC Bank. They're on
There you go.
Winstead, behind the PNC Bank.
And then First Class Real Estate, Brett Hill and his team. I don't have to tell you that this housing market is crazy. One day to the next, everything is constantly changing in real estate. So whether you're looking for commercial or residential, they have a great team. I believe they're one of the biggest real estate teams.
Growing like crazy.
Around this area. So, I mean, they're a great team. They've got a lot of people that you can work with. Go to see them. They are located in the Mills. So definitely give them a call if you are looking or interested or whatever it may be. But Cheryl, kick us off. What are we talking about today?
Going to get in a little bit into the weeds a little bit. This year especially, we've had a lot of people that we've worked with in the Medicare realm that were having very high increases in their premiums for their Medicare supplement plans. And, a lot of people labor under the misinformation that, I can't change plans.
Right.
But, there are ways that you can go about doing that. We're going to kind of get into the weeds of that a little bit so you'll have a better understanding of what you need to prepare for.
Okay. So with plans, sometimes there's underwriting. And so when exactly is that necessary with the med supplement?
Right. With the Medicare supplement, if you are outside of your initial enrollment period, that means a couple of things. One, I'm new to Medicare.
Right.
I may be turning 65, or I may be leaving my employer group plan. I'm 67 or 68 years old, but for the first time, I'm going into Medicare for the first time.
That's your initial.
That's your initial enrollment period. So if you're in that realm, you're fine. You don't have to have any underwriting. You just, pick the plan. Obviously you want to come to us, Statewide Insurers Group, and let us work with you about the different plans out there, and then we'll help you go through that underwriting maze to get ready to if you want to make a change.
Well, and just to speak on that really quickly, with Statewide, we're an independent broker. And so we aren't, as you may hear, a captive agent. So we have the ability to work with a lot of different companies, a lot of different carriers, to be able to offer you more of that wide range. And so that's why I think it's so great to have someone like us on your team, because we're not pulling from just one database.
Correct.
We get to kind of look at a lot of different plans, sit down with you, and really explain what this underwriting process would look like with that.
Yeah.
So is it a difficult process with underwriting?
There are things you need to know. Okay. Most of the questions, and we're going to go into some of this a little bit later on. Most of the questions are usually just very yes or no. You either have this situation or you do not.
Right.
There are some things that are kind of a gray area, and we'll get into that a little bit. And just to give you an idea, all companies are going to ask for height and weight.
Right.
And most companies, have their certain criteria, and if you just happen to be too short for your weight, they're not going to take you.
Right.
Now, one of the major companies out there does take folks regardless of height and weight, which we know there's one or two that pretty large, the big name carriers that do work in that realm, and of course we know who those folks are.
Right.
And we can help you get into that.
So with this, is it, I have my answer to this, but is it important to work with an independent broker, or can they do it on their own? Can anyone help? What's the best answer for that?
The best answer, obviously, is to come see Statewide Insurers Group. And reason being, if you're working with an independent, we don't represent every company out there.
No.
But we represent a lot.
Especially the bigger names that are in your area, probably.
Yeah, we try to match up with what is really accepted or that the doctors like in this area, so to make sure day-to-day activities out there are a little smoother. And we can help you navigate, especially when we get into this situation of wanting to change plans.
Right.
Because it does take a little bit of knowledge, helps a lot in that situation.
Well, and with that too, I always say that we do the nitty gritty, so you don't have to. We research. We oftentimes will contact with your permission, we contact your doctors just to make sure to double check that they are accepting the plan. If it's a newer plan to the area, we try to go ahead and contact doctors, providers to say, hey, this plan's coming to the area. Want to make sure that you know that it's here. If anybody's on it, you did say you accepted it, so it might be new. Just review it with your employees. And so that really is a customer service thing that we try to provide just to alleviate any stress with going to doctors in your area.
Yes. It's unfortunately, dealing with medicine has its own little set of stress-related situations. I was come flying in here this morning on two wheels with my hair on fire for that very reason.
Truly.
I was taking my dad to a doctor's appointment, and it just got way out of hand. So
if someone's going to get a hip replacement, they're going to get it tomorrow, is this a good time to switch or shop a new plan?
No.
Right.
Any time that you're engaged in what they call active treatment, that is definitely not a time to be looking around or shopping. With the hip replacement example, that treatment has to be completed. Now, what does completed mean? Anything related to the treatment of that situation, like rehab,
physical therapy,
any of those things have to be completed before they're going to look at you.
Right.
So I tell folks, make sure everything is done, all the work's completely done for that situation before you come to set up an appointment and we learn your situation.
Right.
Everything's got to be done.
So what if someone has met with their doctor and they've been labeled as pre-diabetic? Is that a chance to look at a new plan or get a new plan at that time? What is your recommendation there?
Yeah. Okay. Pre-diabetic, which we hear more and more of, and almost something. You know.
Right.
That's not an automatic turn down. And that's where we can step in and help you, because different companies have different criteria for the things that they will and will not accept.
Right.
There are major players in this Medicare world that have more liberal underwriting, and they have a higher tolerance for different types of in the diabetes realm, which North Carolina, we have more than our share of diabetics. So again, we have learned these things through the years and learned what companies are your most likely candidate to help you move plans if need be.
Now, with pre-diabetes, oftentimes you can, there's a chance with you just being labeled that you could get healthy, lose that diabetic label. But if someone is diagnosed as full diabetic, what does that mean? Or how does that affect them?
Yeah, the diabetes is probably one of the more tricky situations in looking at underwriting for Medicare supplements. I can give you some broad strokes that they look at. Companies usually do not want to look at someone who's taking more than 50 units of insulin in a day.
Right.
And if you're in that situation where you're not on insulin at all, but you're taking like high blood pressure medications and maybe up to two oral diabetic medicines, you can do that and get through the underwriting process. But here's what they're going to look for. You've been taking 2 blood pressure medications, you've been taking 2 oral diabetes medicines, but you've been doing it for 4 or 5 years, and in the last 4 years, there's been no changes in your medications, other than maybe if they were decreasing the amounts that you were taking. That would be a positive. But again, in those situations, if you've not had a change, then there's a good possibility that you would get through the process. Now, if you've got diabetes and you've had complications of just about any kind, like heart complications, things like that, that's going to be denied.
Right.
I can about promise you that's going to be a situation where you're not going to be able to get new coverage and make a change.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So.
All right, folks. Well, we're already halfway through the show, so
Wow.
go grab a snack, come back and see us, and we'll see you shortly.
Senior Living Today, brought to you by these fine sponsors: Wires Inc., First Class Realty, Triangle East, and Ward Specialty Pharmacy.
Statewide Insurers Group gave us choices in our Medicare coverage. Check out their options to answer your insurance needs. The choice is yours.
At Statewide Insurance Group, we work with every client as an individual case. We try to find what's going to work for you and your needs.
We really do all the research. I like to say we do the nitty-gritty so you don't have to, so we can accommodate everything you need from start to finish.
At Statewide, we want to find the fit that works for you. You need to give us a call. We can do a life review, health insurance, and all of the above. And we're located at 880 Country Club Road, right here in Rocky Mount. And telephone number is 252-316-8166. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back to the Senior Living Today show. Again, I'm Devin Bolding. This is Cheryl Braswell, and today we're kind of just going through the underwriting process. If you are trying to switch plans, kind of what it would look like if you have different criteria happening in your life. So our next question is, Cheryl, some people are going to the doctor's office, they're getting different kinds of injections. Does this affect their chance of being able to switch to a new plan?
It depends, again, on the medication that they're going to be getting. I'll give you an example, injections like Prolia. It's a pretty common one, and I think that's for osteoporosis.
Right.
That is okay. That doesn't seem to bother the underwriters in any of the companies at all. Getting injections for allergies, that's pretty common. That doesn't.
Whew, I'm sure those are getting ready to key
Oh my
up
gosh,
as we're hitting
man. I think
allergy season,
I could use one.
where we just had snow on Sunday, in case you didn't know.
Yeah,
Allergy season and snow within
Yeah.
the same week. We love it here in North Carolina.
we do. Wait 15 minutes and it'll be a new world. Other shots that you get, and I'm blank this morning. I'm having my senior moment. I can't think of any of the names of them. But if you have shots that you're taking on a regular basis, long term, that may be a decline. Again, it depends on the medication, and again, that's where we can help you navigate that. If you're having a pending surgery,
Right.
don't come in and say, "Well, yeah, I'm fine," but and then you remember, "Oh yeah, but I'm having they're going to replace my elbow next week."
Right.
We need to wait until all that's over with. Yeah.
Well, kind of talking about that too, what if you meet with your doctor and they recommend that you need to have a procedure done, but you say, you know what, I'm good, I don't want to have whatever
Yeah.
that procedure may be, maybe it's a knee replacement,
Right.
and you've decided, not right now,
Right.
I don't want to do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Can they switch plans? Is it a good time? What does that look like?
There again, probably not going to be a good time
Right.
to do something, but schedule an appointment with us and just tell us the story. Tell us what's going to be going on. I had an individual in the last couple of weeks, and they'd had a stent put in, and they were very concerned that was going to knock them out. Well, if you read there are several companies, several of the good companies that will take a person that's had stents as long as they were put in 2 years or more.
Okay.
Yeah, then you're clean. And this individual happened to be right on the mark. And literally what I would have told them to do if they were less than the 2 years, I'd say, hey, let's just wait, until we've got 2 months
Right.
past that cutoff time, and then let's visit. Otherwise,
Revisit, right.
they were great. No other medications. That was good. So again, that's where we can help you, because when we learn your whole story, we can then kind of come up with a plan or a timeline as to when would be a good time to really look at this.
Well, and two, looking at that situation, Cheryl, you've been in this insurance business for how long, would you say?
My whole life.
It's been more than 2 days.
More than 2 days, yeah. More than 2 weeks, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and Cheryl's just one member of our team. That's the great part about working with Statewide, is that we have people from all walks of life that have experienced many years of working with different kind of clientele. And so we have that, in the back of our head, that knowledge base, or in the back of our team, if I experience this, I'm like, hey, have you walked through this? Have you seen a client with this similar situation?
Yes.
What can we expect? So that way my client's more informed. If it's something that I've seen that Cheryl hasn't, then we can share that information, and that way we can better advise you moving forward what
Yeah.
the process is going to look like.
And let me touch on one other thing, Devin, on that last question, because this is a common misconception that I run into with folks a lot. If you say, well, my doctor talked to me about doing so and so, but I decided not to do it, or I'm just not going to do that right now. Well, guess what? That is now in your record, and if a company asks the doctor
Right.
for his opinion, he's got to reveal that information.
Right.
So remember, try to remember every conversation of things you've talked to your doctor about. Just because you don't want to do it doesn't mean that it's not out there in the information world.
Right. And when you're being interviewed for all of your health things, is it better to disclose all of your conditions, everything that goes with that in the past few years? Do you want to withhold anything? What's the best?
The thing that you must absolutely do is tell them the truth. in my opinion, I treat my interview, because you'll be interviewed on the phone.
Right.
You know, they're going to call you up, so just be prepared for that. You know, you're going to have a phone call that you're going to have to spend about 30 minutes on. And, you know, answer the question. Let me repeat that. Answer the question. Don't add everything that you can possibly think of that might vaguely, remotely be related to that situation. Answer the question. You know, simple answers, yes and no, is really good.
Right.
And, you know, just be, you know, simply truthful and truthfully simple in
That's a great
what
way
you're
to put
saying
that,
to them.
yeah.
And also, you know, be cognizant of, pay attention to the question. They may say, you know, and this is important, well, in the last 2 years, da-da-da-da.
Right.
That 2 years, remember that. That's important, because if you haven't had that problem in the last 2 years, if it was 2 years and 4 months ago, they're okay with that.
Right.
You know, so, because you'll have questions that will ask, that will say, have you ever done so-and-so? You know, and then there'll be questions like, well, in the past 10 years.
Or in the last 6 months, they're going to give you that time frame.
There's going to be 3 or 4 specific time frames in the question process. And so please, you know, be aware of that and pay attention to it. And again, think about your answers. And the good news is, guys, we can provide you with the questions list.
Yes.
We have kind of a compilation of a lot of different companies, and you can, because we're going to want you to look through that list before you have that phone interview.
Right, and that way that you can be prepared. You
Yes.
know kind of where that conversation's
doesn't scare
going.
you. You know,
right.
Doesn't scare you. Doesn't
Because
shake you
sometimes
up.
when you're getting interviewed about stuff, especially with health things, you know, you don't want to misspeak, and so we do try to make sure you're completely prepared before that conversation
Yes.
happens.
Yeah.
So within this, do they need to provide that prescription information?
More than likely, yes. And, you know, if you, one boogaboo now in the last couple of years, few years, narcotics that are taken for pain. You got to be totally upfront with anything you're doing, and why. Why did the doctor prescribe this medication? Reason being, some drugs have multiple uses. Some drugs have multiple uses. So, you know, you may be on a blood pressure pill, but they say that, you know, I'm just prescribing this for this reason, you know, to provide this help to you. So, and they can, you know, they're going to be able to pull your drug information. So, you know, be forthright, you know, be sure to sit down and write down everything you're taking or have taken,
Right.
you know, in the past year or two. And again, just answer the question. You know, if they ask you about a particular drug, answer that question. Don't be, you know, going into, well, you know, 5 years ago I did so and so.
Right.
You know, answer their question. That's what they're looking for, is that information. So again, answer the question.
Right. We're kind of winding down on time, so I'd want to fit in at least one or two more. But if with canes, would that knock somebody out of being in that interview process or being written? You know, what a cane, walker, how does that affect it?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah. It again, it depends on, you know, why are you using that?
Right.
You know, is there an underlying thing that is of concern? Like maybe the doctor said, hey, I want you to, you know, we're going to have your knee replacement in 3 months, and in the meantime, I want you using this walker for support, you know,
Yes.
in that. So you got to, you know, be aware of those things. Be aware of those things. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, Cheryl, lastly, is it good to work with an independent agent?
I'm pretty certain that it is. And I happen to know one that operates here in the great city of Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Statewide Insurance Group. We're over on Hunter Hill and Country Club Road intersection.
Yes,
We're
right
in-
across from PCN.
That's it. We're in the condos on the corner. We're the closest one to the intersection. So call us, set up a time to talk so we can, you know, go through the process with you and help you understand, you know, this may not be the best time for you to move, or it may be like, you know what, you pass these questions with flying colors. Today is the day.
Right.
Let's get it underway for you, because it can save you significant premium cost.
Well,
You
and
can.
two, working here in Rocky Mount with Statewide, we have the capability. You can come into our office, meet face to face, but we also are very working well within that technology realm. So if you have any health concerns or you don't want to be around a lot of people, we can meet with you virtually.
Yes.
Whether that be video calls or phone calls, whichever you prefer, whichever you have access to. Our company has a way to work with you wherever you're at. So, and we can email you all the information, all the information can be signed virtually as well. So don't let that hold you back. If
Right.
you're like, I'm not really comfortable meeting face to face, that's totally fine. We have ways to work with you.
Yeah.
So give us a call. Our number is 252-316-8166, or come by and see us. We're at 880 Country Club Road, right here in Rocky Mount, or you can email us. All of our information is on our website at statewideinsurers.com. We're also on all social media, so be sure to check us out. And we are winding down on time, so come back, tune in next week. We'll have another show for you.
See you next week, folks.
Statewide Insurers Group gave us choices in our Medicare coverage. Check out their options to answer your insurance needs. The choice is yours.
At Statewide Insurance Group, we work with every client as an individual case. We try to find what's going to work for you and your needs.
We really do all the research. I like to say we do the nitty-gritty so you don't have to, so we can accommodate everything you need from start to finish.
At Statewide, we want to find the fit that works for you. You need to give us a call. We can do a life review, health insurance, and all of the above. And we're located at 880 Country Club Road, right here in Rocky Mount. And telephone number is 252-316-8166. We look forward to hearing from you.